Okay, I am going to show you how to do a crocodile bootie with the crocodile stitch on the loom. I'm going to show you on the 18 peg half gauge. Now you'll notice that it doesn't look much like anything right this minute. But if you were to say take some like homemade eyes or something, and what you do is you glue them in there like that, and then you can see where the crocodile pops out. So I'm going to show you how I do the eye section so that you can easily just hot glue it in. And because when you hot glue it in, it's going to encase around it, it's not going to come out. So you can put black rhinestones in there. You can actually put the bobble eyes in there if you have them. There's a variety you can put in there. Just regular eyeballs you can put in too. But you'll end up gluing those in. So this is basically what it looks like, and we're going to go through how we're going to go about it. So first off, you're going to need 2 peg markers to mark your halfway point on the other side, and this will make it a lot easier for you when you get to changing from bottom to top. Okay, so this is 18 pegs, which means we're going to need to count over 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Peg there and there. This says it's this half, and that one says it's that half. So I am using a Caron yarn with the little sparkles. I forget which one that is, in the green. But I am double stranding. It's a worsted yarn. I'm double stranding it. I don't think you exactly have to. I just wanted it nice and warm and thick, but I don't think you have to double strand it. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do the Kitchener cast on using the smaller loom. And you're going to put this tail down the middle, and I'm going to wrap from front to back. And the way the loom is sitting, it's going to be, this is the front of the pegs and this is the back of the pegs. And what you're going to do is you're going to go from front to back. Then you're going to the opposite side, go front and back, opposite side, front and back, 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 front, 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 back. You're going to shove those down. And at this point, you're going to knit from over here all the way around. And that starts your, so at this point you're going to knit all the way around. And I'm going to be flat knitting, but you can do a U-knit or a regular knit. It'll just change the size just a little bit, making it maybe a little bit bigger, but not really, not that much. Okay, and when you get to this side, I would suggest pulling that tail up so that you don't flip it out when you're tossing those starting loops over. Now, this is a special new stitch technique that Brenda Myers came up with that I thought was awesome. And hers originally went with a duck, which is a super cute little duck. And I'll make sure I post it in the link below. awesome, cute little design. And that's where this technique comes from, is Brenda Meyer. So if you like it and everything, you should go and pop over and say thank you, because it's an awesome stitch. Alright, now that you've done that, this is your cast on. You've just cast it on. Simple as that is. The hardest part is tightening these up. And I don't do that until I'm practically done with up to here. Do I go in and actually tighten those up. So at this point, now that we've done our cast on, we're going to go in and do a full knit row. Now this is for a toddler size. And because the way I do the sole, it can shrink and expand, so it will probably fit a child that's like 1 year old to probably darn near 3 years old, because as you can see, without stretching it, that's the size. With stretching it, that's the extended size. So this has room for growth, and that's a good thing with kids. Okay, now we're going to start our toe area, and that's going to be this area right here. Okay, so we're going to work this half back here. And what we're going to do is we're going to knit 9, which is basically knit to your marker. Right there. Then what you're going to do, let me move that out of the way, is wrap and turn the next peg. And yes, that puts you over to the other half, but that's okay. Okay, then you're going to knit all the way to the other side. And stop there. Wrap and turn your next peg. And you're going to knit to the other side. And stop just before the last wrap and turn. So we're going to stop here. Wrap and turn. And knit to the other side. And stop before just the last wrap and turn, and you're going to continue to do this until you are down to 4 pegs with single loops in between wrap and turn pegs. So you should have wrap and turns with 4 single loops. So go ahead and pause the video and get yourself up to that point, and then we'll go from there. Okay, and we have 4 pegs with single stitches and between the wrap and turn pegs, as you can see here. At this point, we're going to start adding back in our wrap and turns, but every other row is now going to be a purl. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit the first one, so knit that first wrap and turn over, then you're going to purl back the other direction. You're going to purl both those together on that wrap and turn peg. Then you switch and knit your way back to the other side. add that back in and purl. And knit. And purl. And purl those two together. And then you're going to knit. And add that last wrap and turn back in. Okay. And at this point, you're going to purl your way back. And stop here. Alright, at this point, you're going to knit one row. And then we'll be starting on the nostril area of the bootie. And this section here that we just did right here is going to be the upper side of the bootie, so keep that in mind. And this is going to be the bottom. Okay. And one more. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to be doing, we're here. We're going to be adding our nostrils in. So what you do is you're going to knit into 1, 2. Then you're going to knit 1 peg 5 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'd call that a knit chain. Okay, and then you're going to go back in and you're going to hunt down your original loop. So you'll go to the next not worked peg, follow it back, and it looks like that peg right, that loop right there is your original. Put it back on there. Then you're going to purl 3, 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to knit chain 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to pull back up your original loop. And there's your next unworked loop. There's your connector. And there is that loop. One that seems to be sticking out. Put it back on. Okay. Then you're going to knit 2. And then purl 9. Okay. At this point, you're going to knit a row. And you're going to toss both those loops over on those knit chain pegs. Both loops over. Turn it all the way around. Okay. Then at this point, you're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 3, knit 3, purl 9. When I finish this row, the last 2 rows that we just did will be a repeat. You'll knit the next row, then you'll do that knit 3, purl 3, knit 3, knit, purl 9 as your second row, and you're going to repeat that set. I'll tell you how many times. So that's our 2-row set, and that's this section here. And so we just did this. Let's see. Yeah, we're right here. So we're going to do this 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do this 3 more times. So go in and complete those 6 rows, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to add the eyes in. So go ahead and pause the video and complete those 6 rows, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I have completed that area there, and I did that 6 times, and then I knitted a row to finish to prep to start my eye area. So after you've done that 6 times, go ahead and knit a row. And then after you knit a row, we're going to start on our eye area. And the eye area is going to actually be kind of unique, because you need one side to be smaller than the other so that when you glue it in, it actually kind of encases the eyeball. So what I'm going to do is knit 1. Then I'm going to knit 2, knit back those 2, then knit this one, 1, 2, 2 times, and then I'm going to knit 2, knit 2, and then 1 and 2, and knit 2. And this is an eye area. Now that we've done that, we're going to go back and we're going to try to find our original loop. And remember, we go to the next peg that hasn't been worked, we find our connector yarn, we go over 1, and there it is, right there. Pull that back up, pull that one back up, and there's your eye area. Now we're going to purl 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to work the next 2 pegs, which are an eye area. So knit 2, then knit 1, 2, then knit 2, knit 2, then 1, 2, then knit 2, knit 2, and then bring your original loops back. So go to the next peg, find that connector yarn right there, and then go over, and there is your original loop right there. So pick that up, put it back on, and put the next one back on. There we go. Then you're going to knit 1, and then you're going to purl 9. So we've pretty much just completed the face, which is always a nice thing. So I've just completed what I would say is the complicated area. Now, we're going to go in and knit a row and then do our, and then we'll get started on that heel. These actually go pretty fast because they're small. Now we're to this section right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of basically do like we did the toe. We're just going to do it in reverse. So you're going to wrap and turn the next peg, which yes, goes over to the other half of the loom, and you're going to knit to the marker on the other side. There's your marker. Then you wrap and turn. Then you're going to purl until just before the wrap and turn on the other side. And you're going to be working this technique down to, again, the 4 single stitches between the wrap and turns. So you're going to keep continuing this technique until you have the 4 single stitches of in between your wrap and turns. And keep in mind that you are knitting when you're going from right to left, and you're purling when you're going from left to right. So go ahead and pause the video and complete this heel section to its midpoint, and then we will go from there. Okay, you see your 4 single stitches between your wrap and turns on both sides. Now from this point on, we're going to knit. There's going to be no purling, adding our wrap and turns back in. So we're gonna knit over, take that first wrap and turn, then go back, knit to the other side, and add that last wrap and turn back in, go to the other side, add the next wrap and turn back in, and this half should go fairly fast. And add that last wrap and turn back in. Okay, heel section is done. Okay, now what we're going to do is go in and knit 2. Actually, we're going to knit all the way around. So go ahead and knit all the way back to your ending, original ending and starting point. Okay, we've completed that far. Alright. So we are now to here and up. So we are in the downhill side of this. So what you want to do is we're going to do our scales in 3 peg increments. So you're going to knit 3 pegs for 3 rows. So there's row 1, 2, 3, then knit 2, 1, 2, and then knit 3 rows. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to go in and put your original loop back on, which is going and finding that next unworked peg, finding your connecting yarn, which is right here. So there would be your original loop right there. Follow that over. Follow that over. Okay. And you're going to repeat this again in the next 3, and the next 3, and the next 3, and I'm going to show you one more time. And then I'm going to pause the video and let you finish the row. There's 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, oops, 2, and then 3 for 3 rows. 1, 2, 3, bring your original loop, so there's your connector right there to your next loop, which means that this right here is your original loop. Just go ahead and pull your original loops back and go ahead and complete 3 all the way around. Once you get here, then you'll want to knit 4 rows, and when you do your first row, you'll toss both loops over. So finish this scale row, and then once you finish the scale row, do 4 rows of knit, and then I'll show you how to stagger the second row. So go ahead and pause the video and complete that much, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we have completed that much, and there you see your crocodile stitches all the way around, and we've knitted 4 rows. Now we need to do another scale row, but we need to stagger it. So how do you stagger it? It's real easy. Knit 1, start on your next 3. So this is your first scale on your stagger row. So 2, 3, minute 2, 1, 2, and 3 rows, 3. There's row 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then you bring your original loops back. There's your connecting. And there's your original loop right there. Okay. Then you're going to go to the next 3 and do another scale, and I'll show it to you one more time. And then you'll continue these scales all the way around. 2, 3, and then knit 2, and then knit 1, and then knit 2, and then knit 3 for 3 rows. Then you're going to add your original loops back in, follow over, there's your original loop, pull those back on, and continue all the way around. And on your last one you will be going and using your starting peg to do your last scale. And after you do your last scale on this row, you'll repeat the same thing and doing knitting for 4 rows. So go ahead and pause the video and complete this row of scales and then knit 4 rows. After you do that, on your last 4th row, you're going to stop here on your end peg, and then you're going to go back to your original scale row. So you go back in the video to where we started the scales, and you'll repeat that section, just the scale section of this first row here. But instead of doing 4 rows, you're just going to knit the row to get it back down to 1 loop, and then you're going to purl a row, and then you're going to do a real light loose cast off, not a stretchy cast off, but a loose cast off, because you got to keep in mind the child needs to be able to get their foot through that. So that completes the actual boot itself. So there's the staggered, then go back and do the exact same thing we did here with this one. Knit the row, purl the row, and then cast off. So at this point, you're probably wondering, Kitchener cast on, tighten up. Well, here's the trick. Find your tail. It's just the camera limit. Find your tail. This is the end you want to finish with. Go to the opposite side. Now, what you need to keep in mind with how you wrapped, you're going to be pulling from like a hill and valley kind of way. So you need to find where your starting point is. So you just do light tugs until you find where you're pulling from. So we're starting from a valley, and then we're going to find our next one over. And I would suggest when you start to pull lightly to see if you're pulling correctly. So we're pulling from the hill, and you pull it nice and snug. Then you're going to follow it down, follow it over, and these should be your next one. And if it is, it'll pull up like this. So we're going to a valley. Then you're going to go up, and you're going to pull from the hill. And again, you should see when you're pulling from the correct one. Then you're going to go down to a valley, and this should be your next 2 that you're going to pull. You're going to pull up through there, and then you're going to go back up onto the hill, and you're going to find your next 2. There they are. Then go back to the valley, right there, pull the next two, go up to the hill to pull the next two, and go down to the valley. And it gets harder when you get to the other end, but so far we're doing good. And so we're going up the hill, then we're going to go back down the hill. Let's stretch out to our other side. We're going to go back down the hill, then we're going to go back up the hill and pull from the top down to the valley. We're going to pull from there, and then pull from the top of the hill, and pull from the valley. And again, we're starting to get closer to the other side, and it'll get complicated from there. So now we're having a harder time seeing where our next pull zone is. I have one more real puffy one I can pull from, and it's going to be from the hill. Now we're looking for our valley, and this is where it can get complicated, but it looks like we actually made it simple. We're pulling it up from the valley, and there you have it. Ta-dum! There's your tightened Kitchener cast on. You can barely tell it's there. And that is the brilliance. So then I'm going to snip the end and tuck it in. And that's your Kitchener cast on and how you tighten those loops. After you completed that, go in and make a second one. And then you'll want to stretch your eyes out and glue in buttons or the bobble eyes or whatever. And so you want to hot glue those in, and then you're done. That's your Crocodile Booties, which you can also do these in red, and you can make them look more like dragons. And you could always do the bottom of the booty in yellow and the top in red to give it more of a dragon look about it. So you can turn these into dragons as well. So that's the pattern, and it's as simple as that.